is. If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 430 of Picks and Ponies right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I am your proud host, Howard Kravitz. Boy, do I love this time of year. Let's go, baby. Keeneland is back. The beautiful bluegrass state of Kentucky, and we are here to talk about simply one of the best sequences, I think, of the entire year at any track. It is the all-stakes Pick 5 at Keeneland this Saturday with Breeders' Cup implications, big fields, superstars all over the place, and we're here to preview it for you tonight. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side of the screen, notification bell on the top right, and smash that like button below the video player. We'd greatly appreciate it. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. You can follow us on X at HHH Racing Pod. Very exciting also. I will mention this a few times. We are live this Saturday, 3:30 Eastern to 6 o'clock Eastern. Pete Visco is going to be hosting Weekend Warriors with Paul Halloran, Matt Miller, and yours truly will be live at Keeneland this weekend in the paddock, in the winner's circle, talking to owners, trainers, hopefully jockeys. This is a Weekend Warriors show similar to the Stephen Foster show at Churchill that we had earlier this summer. You do not want to miss it. Make sure you come to this YouTube channel at 3:30 Eastern for Weekend Warriors this Saturday. Live coverage, not only of Keeneland, but also big races in New York as well. You can subscribe to our Power Pick tip sheet. Look below the video player if you're interested in our Keeneland Power Picks. That closes tomorrow, Thursday, noon Eastern. If you're interested in the Power Pick for Keeneland only, I'm just going to flash it on the screen very quickly. There it is in the top right-hand corner. There it is, the QR code. Take your camera. You don't have to be watching live. You can watch as a replay and go ahead and point at that. But you need to subscribe. That'll take us to our website where you can find out how to subscribe to the Power Pick tip sheet for Keeneland only. We also have regular Power Pick tip sheet. Just go to our website, HHH Racing Podcast. There it is, hhhracingpodcast.com for all the information on all of our fantastic Power Picks. All right. I don't want to waste any time. We've got a fantastic show also later tonight, live here on Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern. Great race plays covering San Anita's big card on Saturday. Let me get right to my wonderful co-hosts. First, from the East Coast of Maryland, Mr. Pete Visco, and another person who enjoys very much Keeneland Racetrack from the Saratoga Special and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, donning his Keeneland gear, as am I, Mr. Paul Halloran. Gentlemen, this is one of my favorite times of year. I love October. I love October for sports. Most importantly, I love October for the Breeders' Cup and Keeneland Racecourse. Paul, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I share your excitement. When the show is over, I'm going to continue into the Friday Keeneland Power Picks. I've already started, and I'm going to get a good bulk of them done tonight. And then, of course, this Saturday card that we're going to talk about. I love this card. Howard, I saw your text the other night. Don't forget Travers Day. I think you inadvertently left that out.
Yeah, that is true. That is pretty good.
But I would agree with that. I'll tell you, these turf races, Pete, holy Toledo.
Couple tough ones, Paul. Couple tough ones to work through.
Good luck in the multis, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, that's we just have to put a little extra money in the pot this week.
Yo.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Marco Lou is in the chat. Mark Bogaz is here. Dr. K from Florida, who I met at Keeneland last year, is here. All the big shooters are here waiting and listening. John Judge, go Red Sox. They are one win away tonight from beating the Yankees, which would not make a lot of people probably happy, but it also would make people happy. Terry Frank is here. Looks like St. Patty's show. Yeah, look, we got to represent for the green for the big show that we have here. Armando Garcia, this is the best show in town. Wow, thank you, Howard, Pete, Paul. May God bless you all. Thank you, Armando. Really appreciate it. Thanks during the show. Ponies on Demand is here. Keeneland time. Hope to see you all there. I'll be there this weekend. Paul and I will both be there in 2 weeks. I'm going to be there in consecutive weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Ralph Conti is more of a Yankees guy. Go Yankees for Ralph. All right, guys, we got a lot to talk about. Let me just say this right away. Get this off, as I already mentioned. I will be at Keeneland Live. Go ahead and hit me up with a DM or an email. I'll be there live this weekend at the track, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the following weekend, I will be there at the track on Saturday and Sunday. Paul will be there also for the Cody's Monument ceremony, which is a week from this Saturday morning. Kyle Roscoe will be there also in 2 weeks. Just Chris Couples is going to be there this weekend. What's up, Chris? Pumped for a great weekend. Weather's going to be fantastic. Don't even have to talk about it. You're exactly right. It's going to be great. All right, guys, let's jump right in. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to get up the Aquabase for the first race that we're going to be discussing. And we are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, the all stakes pick 5 on Saturday, which is races 6 through 10. It does not include the last race, race 11. Let's go ahead and bring it up on the screen, and we'll get right into race 6, gentlemen, right now. There it is. Race 6 starts with Woodford Stakes, presented by FanDuel. Grade 2, 5.5 furlongs on the turf field of 9. We can see right there. Let me go ahead and refresh because the morning lines were not on there. They're going to be now. Hold on just 1 second. Thank you for the additional security. Yes, yeah. I am human. Just let everyone know. Okay. Let's see here. Where are we going? Race 6. Here we go. Morning line favorite, a soft one, is the number 5, Doncho. Michelle Lovell, Jose Ortiz. Let's see where we're going here to start off the all stakes late pick 5. I'm going 3-1-5. Pete's going 3-5-1. Paul's completely different. He's going 7-8-1. Paul, let's start with you first, my friend. Governor Sam, very likable horse for George Weaver and IRAD, 6-1 morning line.
Yeah, I didn't have the morning line, but I'm not surprised that it's a tepid favorite. I think the race is fairly open. I think this horse should be a little better, shorter than that 6.5 at Kentucky Downs, which is more like 7 or 7.5 because you have to run uphill. Red Sox lead. Sorry.
No, don't do that, Paul, because you're ahead of me.
Oh. And they're ahead of the Yankees. Anyway, as I was saying.
Oh boy, this is going to happen all night, isn't it?
Well,
fine. I'm like, they haven't even swung yet. That's how far behind.
Paul, blinkers on, baby. There's a lot of people want to hear about Keeneland. They don't care less about your Red Sox. Blinkers on. Let's go.
Well, ironically, Howard, I just realized this: the horse that I picked is owned by Alex Bregman. So
there you go.
No, I thought this horse ran well at Saratoga, both races. He was odds on, so no surprise there. I think, first of all, we should say we think world record is going to scratch here and run in the dirt Saturday, don't we?
I think so. I don't know about Pete, but I think so, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, is there, the Broodmare Sire is a Austrian horse, and he's out of a mare from Great Britain, but I don't know. This horse is pretty good on dirt, isn't he?
I would say so.
Anyway, I think in an open race, I think the 7 just has a chance to send and go, and I think the 5.5 distance will be much more to his liking than the 6.5 last time.
Okay, I hear you. I think he's a little slow. He is a 3-year-old. He can improve. My feeling on him, Pete, and then we'll move on to our top choices. If he can't beat Spiced Up in troubleshooting, he ain't beating this field. That was sort of my feeling. I saw him run it. He's very honest and he's very consistent. We'll see. He's capable of stepping up, and George Weaver, we know, is very capable of stepping up a horse. But we're going to go with a horse that I think is going to show a lot of speed, and this morning line is crazy to me. Now, when I say crazy, I don't mean bad. I mean good for you and I, Pete. Although world record will probably be scratched. I think Joe Shiesty, the number 3, our top pick, will be somewhere around 9-2. If I had to take a guess, maybe half this price, 4-1. I'm curious here what you have to say, Pete, because I think he's very interesting here, coming off a very poor effort, but has a lot of previous races to go back to.
He is. I have to. I'll lead with. I hate this race. My opinion sucks. I have no faith in it in this race. So I'm going to lead with that though, because
Okay.
I went through every horse in this field like 5 times trying to come up with one, and I could pretty much knock every single one of them. And I didn't have a ton of confidence in any of them. I like this horse. I think if you look at some sort of from a time form standpoint, he even looks even better than he does necessarily from like a buyer standpoint. And the thing that I like, the reason I think you're getting the longer odds, Howard, is the last race looks bad on paper, but he sort of stumbled out of the gate a little bit and he stutter stepped and then was just out of it. And this is a speed horse and he needs to be on or near the lead. And I think, and you could see it there, if world record isn't there, then he could potentially just be the speed of the speed. And in that case, going 5.5, I like the speed of the speed. You could never discount that. And this is a horse that has run against he's run against quality. I mean, he hasn't spent too much time in graded stakes, unfortunately, but he's run enough quality races and has some decent horses on the tab where I'm looking at it going in a race where I don't love anyone. I like the horse that can just be on the top, and they're going to have to run him down. Now, our other horse, or one of the other horses, the 5, Doncho, could put a little crimp into that, but I don't think he's as fast as Joe Shiesty. So I think the 3 could be just loose on the lead. Again, I think it's a lot dependent on what world record does, though, because I assume if world record stays in, it's going to make it more difficult.
If world record's in this race, that changes everything for me.
Yeah, I was almost handicapping with him out in my head for the most part.
I wouldn't mind Governor Sam if world record's in. But here's my feeling, Pete. You see blue-coated figs, which is hard to believe at Alice when you see 21.6 and 43.3, and somehow that's blue-coated. I think a lot of people are going to look at the 5 and say the 5 is faster than the 3 if they don't have advanced metrics, because people see the fractions, they see ones for Doncho, think this horse is faster, but not according to time form. The other thing that I like about the 3 is he's dirty up from that last race. That last race, he didn't break well. Machado sort of wrapped up with him in the stretch. I'm sure you saw the same thing I did. He didn't really ask. He still only lost by 3 lengths to Bear River, who came back and won at Kentucky Downs. So he's only a 4-year-old, Pete. I'm expecting a monster bounce back with Tyler. And I really don't want Tyler to get into a speed duel with the 5, though, because I think that's going to hurt both of them. So we don't know how it's going to break. The break is tremendously important in this race. I don't know how you feel, Pete, but I sort of feel as if Joe Shiesty might be able to sit off a little bit if necessary. I don't think Doncho can. That's just my opinion.
You say that, and I hope the same, but he's never shown that capability. So that's one of those where you're sort of taking a leap of faith. I mean, every successful win he's had has been on the lead, which again, for me, when I say I have no opinion, because I look at it and go, man, the speed, if it breaks where there is a ton of speed, the speed horses are compromised. Then I look at the closers like, oh, well, maybe I'll go to a closer then. Then I looked at some of the closers. I'm like, I don't really like them for some reason. So I'm like, are they going to be able to run these horses down? Or there maybe just the 3 and the 5 go and one of those 2 wins and nobody else can run them down. That's sort of why I landed on 3-5 on top. Like maybe they're just fast enough and they battle a little bit and one gets the advantage. I'm not sure who that's going to be. The 3, hopefully, if he's the better price.
Yeah, I think he will be the better price. Now, there's, like you said, the closers are sort of meh in this race. In fact, there really aren't any great closers. I have Arrest Me Red, the number 1 in second. I sort of feel like you, Pete. I don't have a ton of confidence. I do know last time at Kentucky Downs, he was ridden, I'm going to say a little bit passively, too passively for me. And they went 23-1 first quarter, which at Kentucky Downs in that race is absolutely walking. This is not going to be 23-1. I know he's already 7, but you know what? He's 15 for 27 in the money. He does fine at Keeneland. He gets the rail. I like Machado. I think Arrest Me Red, if it falls apart, is the one that's going to pick up the pieces. Paul thinks it could be Kadeem, the number 8, who is 4-1 for Frankie. And I got to tell you, if you're fans of Frankie Dettori, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be very happy this weekend. He has got a lot of very live mounts this weekend on Saturday. I'm sure on Friday as well. Paul could talk to that about that more. I haven't deep dove into.
unless he screws them all. then
Well,
you
you
might
know
not
what?
like
He
him
was
so
very
much.
good at Kentucky Downs. When the money's on the line, Pete, I got a feeling he's gonna have a
Yeah,
good
no, I'm
weekend.
just more messing around. But I'm like,
Yeah,
because I looked at a bunch and I'm like, oh, Frankie's on this one. Uh-oh.
I'm a little more positive to Frankie at Keeneland, or maybe this weekend. I don't know how Paul feels about that. But Paul Kadem, sorry, is already 9. But you know what? He sort of woke up last time after some bad efforts and wasn't that far off the pace. I think he's going to be actually further off the pace in this race Saturday.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think that last race would be very good here. That
I agree.
profile would be very good here. I agree. I think he's going to need a little setup, which is why I didn't pick him on top. But if he gets it, and God love him at age 9, still going. This is start number 42. If he gets it, he will be rolling late. And yeah, I think Frankie may have a lot to do with it, one way or the other. He did have a great Kentucky Downs meet, which kind of came out of nowhere, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But he really did, and he's going to pick up these Euro mounts. He's on a good Godolphin horse on Saturday, I think it is. So, I think this horse needs a setup, but I do think he will be rolling late.
It's going to be interesting. It's probably going to be 8-horse field. If anyone has any information on world record, please let us know. I have not seen or heard anything. I would have to believe he's going to be scratching.
I looked for tweets or something, but I didn't see
tomorrow.
anybody post anything today.
Yeah. Let's quickly look at the chat. We've got Katie is here. Appreciate that. Chris Couples thinks Doncho is a serious racehorse. I'm not going to disagree with you. He could absolutely. I mean, the first 3 seconds. Wouldn't you like to see the first 3 seconds of this race, Pete? I mean, that's going to set up the whole race, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I'm a sucker for a horse who, when they switch surfaces or they're doing something new and they sort of just really move forward, I love that in a horse. So that was why Doncho sticks out to me.
Yeah, Doncho can absolutely win. For me, selfishly, I want to see Doncho, not stumble, just stutter step, maybe. I don't know. That'd be fine with me. All right, guys. TCA. This is a win and you're in. Yes, this is a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup. It's $400,000, 6 furlongs for the girls sprinting on the dirt. We have a horse who won this race last year, and I had the pleasure of speaking with Steve Asmussen right after the race. I'm sure we can find that on our website. I think actually on our website you can see that interview with Steve Asmussen, I believe, that I had with Zeitlos last year. The pretty heavy favorite, though, is the number 5, Vava, a horse we've talked about a lot in the show in the last few years. Cherie DeVoe, IRAD, 7-5 morning line. Let's see where we're going here in this race. I'm going with Vava, 5-7-2. Pete's also going with Vava, 5-7-4. Paul is saying no to Vava. He's going 7-1-5. Paul, a little bit of the outlier tonight. I sort of like it. Paul, Zeitlos, very honest horse. Turf to dirt. I have one main question for you about Zeitlos. I have her second, so obviously I like her, and so does Pete. Is there enough speed early to set up for this closer?
I think so, because I think Vodka with the Twist goes. I think the 6-horse Praying goes. There's 2 right there. Helena's Forte came off the pace last time at Saratoga in the Ballerina, where she was just outgunned. But she has shown speed in the past. Long Neck Paula has speed. So, yeah, I would say the answer to that question is yes.
Is she in as good form as she was last year, or better?
Well, I mean, the turf races are interesting, right? You never know where that's coming from. She had 1-2 back, and then Asmussen goes. I guess you try it at Saratoga, and she did run really big in that Caress. That Future is now. That's that really good Mike Trombetta horse. So that's I question that a little, but I'm a big Vava fan, but boy, I think she's better at 7 than 6. She's for sale. Does she know she's being orphaned? She's in the November sale. I don't know. I just, it's interesting to me that Cherie is running this horse at 6. Having said that, you know how I feel about Cherie. So, I think you'll be talking to Asmussen again this year, Howard.
Okay. Well, and we'll be live to talk to him, hopefully. Pete, here's my feeling. I think Xylos, by the way, last year was up closer to the pace. Now, if you remember, this day last year, it was major speed favoring. That was when the federal judge weekend, when he freaked on Friday. The rail was really good. It was very warm. It was windy. It was extremely inside speed bias and favored front runners. I don't anticipate that this weekend. We'll have to see. I just feel like Zeitlos can only win if it's a pace meltdown, and I just don't think that's going to happen. Although this field is sort of meh for the TCA, I have to say.
Yeah, it's not the best field, yeah, my reticence with her was the pace, and the fact is she going to be stuck too far back. Now, the thing I like in favor of her not doing that is that Pratt is back up. He rode her back in the Chicago, has a good feel. Maybe this time he'll know, hey, I probably need to be a little bit closer with this horse. I'm I trust Pratt usually to put the horse in the right position. So I think he'll try. Now, again, whether that works or not and whether he's able to do it is another thing. But I think he'll try to at least have her in a better striking position than being stuck. Like, I mean, last time out, she was, that was just too much. She's not overcoming that against a good field. But I think this field isn't as great necessarily.
No. Now let's talk about Vava. Pete, I went back and forth between Vava and Xylos. I don't want to speak for you. I'll let you talk first. Paul, I brought up some concerns. Maybe it's too short. Maybe she's too inconsistent for Paul's liking. She is 3 for 3, first or second at Keeneland. This seems to be one of her favorite tracks.
Yeah, I have a very simple reason. I love Vava in this race. I have a very simple reason. I was against her last out at whatever she was, 1-2. To me, she just can't run off a layoff, and she's better second off. And when she has the chance to be second off a layoff, she fires her best shot, and she's done it almost every single time. And so she's a horse that I feel comfortable. Like, there's so many horses where you're like, man, I can't get this horse right. Every time I zig, they zag, and vice versa. This one, I feel like I have a good feel for her. So I feel like she's going to run her best race here. Again, maybe the 6 is a little too sharp for her, and maybe that gets her beat. But I think she's going to run her race, and we're going to see the best of her here.
I agree with you, although that last race was only 2 months. It wasn't that long a layoff. I was against
It doesn't
her
matter.
last
She
time.
doesn't fire. Short, long, she just doesn't run her best race. I always know you could play against her. It's like clockwork, unfortunately.
Well, she did run well in the Madison last year. I
Very
have to say,
well.
coming from October.
She ran well. She didn't win, though. She didn't win.
Well,
so she doesn't
Elvis
win.
Star at the time. Elvis
That was-
Star at the time.
I'm just
Pete
saying
was
she
like,
doesn't win the race. Whether she runs well or not, it's a different thing. She doesn't win the
Okay.
race. So, that is what it is.
My feeling, more than the layoff, Pete, is that she's just going to sit a great trip here. I mean, she should sit right off a long neck Paula, unless, Idvaka with a twist, maybe I don't think she's fast enough, frankly, to go with long neck Paula early. Guys, I have this one in third. Like, we've seen weird things in short fields. If for some reason long neck Paula gets loose and Vava doesn't break great or 6 is too short, I wouldn't completely sleep on this Wesley Ward. He cranks horses up for Keeneland. So I just want to mention long neck Paula, who I would never bet at 7-2 in a million years with either one of your guys' money. But in a horizontal situation, if she gets loose, guys, I don't think she's completely impossible in this race. But back to Vava, I just don't think she's going to be that far off. NYRA can't be that stupid. She's going to be, a length and a half, 2 lengths off of long neck Paula. She's just tons of class here, Pete. And I didn't like her last time either because Mystic Lake broke to her outside. And Charlestown is weird. I just had a gut feel. And the 2 months, like, it just feel like the great spot to bet against. And you and I were fortunate to be correct. This, to me, is definitely the spot. She's 7-5. We don't need to keep talking about her. But, it is 6 furlongs. And she probably is better 7. It's also winning you're in, right? Shree wants to go to the Breeders' Cup with this horse. So, I don't know. To me, it's all systems go. I'd be a little surprised if she loses. I think it's mainly a 2-horse race. I'd be pretty shocked if the 5 or 7 don't win this race, frankly.
But also, like, from a horizontal standpoint, which we all love to play, this is a race where do you go super skinny? Do you love Vava and you go skinny? And because some of those other races, I feel like you're going to need to play a bunch.
Yeah.
So is this the kind of race, if you're playing a caveman or something, do you single here? Do you go super skinny? I think that's kind of a key decision because I don't know
Right.
if there's any others. I don't have any confidence in any other singles or even probably too deep. I don't think in the rest of the races.
Well, I actually like a single later in the sequence more than Vava. I'm gonna use Xylos also. Paul, I am concerned about the 6 furlongs a little bit, and she's not a win machine. Like she just finds a way to lose sometimes. I just don't sure. Paul, I don't think this is gonna be the spot. I mean, I wouldn't you be surprised, Paul, if anyone wins this race other than 5 and 7 here?
Yes, unless Text runs better than she has pretty much ever. I mean, she's one of those horses. She is always around though. And you look at who she lost to: Raging Sea, Torpedo Anna, Impel. So, I would be very surprised if Text won, but not shocked.
Last time that was boy was I pissed live when we were watching her. I loved her. She was a spot play. A lot of people didn't like her, and she just got a brutal trip and should have won that race. Now she's coming back quickly against much tougher. I want no part of Taxed on Saturday. All right, guys. There's 2 turf grade 1s on Saturday. Wow, these are fantastic races. And Pete's got a little bit of a female pet horse here coming back from earlier this year. That was one of his, I would have to say, one of his best picks of the year on this show. Won it almost 7-1. Let's get to the first lady, guys. This is one heck of a race. It is race 8 on Saturday at Keeneland. It is a grade 1. It is a field of 12. There are 4 AEs. All of them are turf meant. If there is a scratch, and this is something to pay attention to, the number 13, Special Juan for Walsh, would get in. I think she'd be very live, guys, in this spot if the number 13, Special Juan, gets in. But she's going to need a defection. The main body of the field, like I said, is 12. And look at this board. It is absolutely completely wide open. Some very nice horses. The favorite morning line is number 5, Dynamic Pricing for Chad and Dylan at 4-1. Let's see where we're going here. I'm going 1-9-5. Pete's going 5-10-1. And Paul's going 10-4. Pete, I find it ironic that I've been against the one several times, and now I'm going with her. And that was a great pick for you several starts back here at Keeneland. But you're going to go with Chad and Dylan. I totally understand it. I've got this one third. I'm curious to hear what Paul has to say, Pete, after you talk about Dynamic Pricing, because Paul does not have this one in his top 3. But Dynamic Pricing, Pete, obviously very capable for Chad, and she's a real nice mare.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I could see coming up. If we came up, all 3 of us with 3 different horses, it wouldn't shock me. In this field, it's pretty even and pretty deep. One thing is Chad Brown in this race. He's won the last 5 at least if you're going, and he's finished, I think, 1st and 2nd in the last 5. If I'm
pretty good in this
thinking
race.
of it correctly, if I looked at it correctly when I did, and I think last year was 1, 2, 3 also. So
can I interrupt you a second?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, and she can absolutely win this race. But usually he comes in with monsters. I wouldn't characterize this horse as a monster. I just want to point that out for people listening and watching. You could absolutely be right, but I think it's fair to say he's had better ones in this race than Dynamic Price.
He has, yes, but he's also wins when they're not better too. But it's not like, I mean, this is still a grade 1 winner, so it's not like she's dog crap.
Well, she's
so
good.
She's good. She's not. Yeah, she's not.
She's very good,
up
actually,
to the level. Yeah,
not a superstar. Is all I'm saying.
The one thing a couple things I like about her, both of her wins this year. Well, 2 of her 3 wins, I should say, this year were at the 8 furlong distance. And I think there's going to be enough pace in here for her to it's moderate, the pace. So it's not going to be, I don't think it's fast. I don't think there's any sort of misconception. It looks slow there, but I think that there's enough pace to where, I don't know. I think she has a good enough late kick, and I don't like the horses necessarily that are going to be on the lead, which to me, I think they're a little soft, the leaders. So to me, I think they can be run down. They're ripe to be run down, even if the pace isn't hot. But we need like a moderate pace because she's going to be relatively far enough back. But she's just in such great form right now, and she's faced some pretty good horses. I mean, the loss to Excellent Truth and She Feels Pretty. I mean, those are top-notch horses who probably both would be favored
No
in this
doubt about it.
field, I assume. And she
Yep.
beat Excellent Truth last 3 back. I just think she's in really good form. I think the pace could set up, but maybe she'll need to be just a touch closer. Like, I'd love to see her sort of mid-pack. If she's mid-pack, I'll feel a lot more confident during the race than if she's sort of last, because this is a big field too. So you don't want her
Yeah.
having to come from 11th or 12th or something. I think that could be problematic.
Paul, let me go right to you. I know you're a fan of Chad Brown, obviously. I mean, who isn't? And Dylan. What is it you do not like about dynamic pricing? I'm sure you might be using your, defensively, or maybe you're going to go, more than 3 deep in your horizontals. But what is it that you do not like about dynamic pricing in this race?
No, it's simply a numbers game. As you said, there's 12 in here, and we only can pick 3 in our top 3. You restrict us like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. Honestly, where would you have her? Fourth? Sixth?
Yeah, I'd have
Okay.
a fourth. And
if you were playing a caveman, Paul, would she be on your ticket?
Oh, well, Pete, that depends on what I did in the previous race.
That's true. Yeah.
If I were playing a caveman, I would probably single Zeitlos only for the reason of
Just for that reason.
not to double the cost of the ticket. And if Vava beats me, I've been beaten before.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm going to answer the question that
I'd be like four or 5 deep here.
I'm going to answer the question that I just asked you, Paul. I have her third, but here's my concern, gentlemen. If you look very carefully at her PPs, she really only has one number buyers-wise that sticks out, and that was on yielding the just a game. I don't think a 93, 94 is going to win this race. In the Diana, I didn't really find any excuses at all.
Right.
And in the perfect sting, it was, this race is much more difficult than that race. I don't know, guys. She's good. I guess you could argue she's very good. I don't like the pace scenario here. I want someone forward, which is why I'm going to talk about my horse in just a minute. I think she's going to need a lot to work out to win this race, and she's going to be bet a lot. That's my opinion.
By the way, she does have top-notch time form rating. So depending upon which one,
yes,
time form likes her better than Bayer does. So
I agree, which is why I have her third, Pete. I agree with you on that. Let's talk about Ozara, Paul. This is a real confounding horse for me. When I saw Ozara in the PPs, I was like, oh, this is going to be an auto toss for me. I don't know if Irad had choices or not, but I'll tell you what, Irad's been riding Sagesta, who is a horse I like actually quite a bit in this race, which I'll talk about in a minute. You would assume he had the choice between Sagesta and Ozara. And Ozara, who I've never really thought was that good, to be very honest, is really starting to step up her game. And I thought she was really good in the Boston spot. Now, she got a 98. The time form didn't like her as much. I don't think that race is nearly as good as this one. But, Paul, the fact that Irad stays on and Miguel might have an improving filly here, while other ones like Dynamic Pricing, we sort of know who they are. Maybe Ozara is just getting good at the right time. I'm assuming that's part of your rationale for putting her on top.
Yeah, I thought she's run very well both of those races. I get it. The De La Rose is a restricted race, and the Boston Spa was just okay grade 2. But I think if you use the eye test and watched how she ran, she looked a winner pretty much every step of the way. It's definitely a step up. You bring up a very interesting point with Sagesta. It's hard to tell with Chad because Chad might, if he thinks Chad will use Pratt before Irad on turf, I think.
Really, you think so? So if he could have used either one in any race, he would go with Pratt. You think
on turf? I think he would.
On turf,
yep.
Really?
Now that again, key word in that is I think, and that okay. is not based on any information. But
sure.
We're flipping coins with those guys. This is an interesting horse. Sagesta. I don't know. I think she might be one of those horses that is a forward horse who runs better at longer distances. I didn't see.
That was my thing. That was my thing, Paul. Her best races seem to be a little more 9 than the 8, maybe.
Yeah, as in the Monmouth race, the matchmaker, which was a just okay field. Hey, look, you could go 6 deep in this race and not feel real confident, right? So It's just that type of race.
Paul, it's so funny that you and Pete say that because I feel the exact opposite. Let me talk about Sagesta first, even though I have her second. I almost put her on top, guys. Uh, yes, she was going longer at times last year, and she was running well. But when I've watched her recently, like you talk about the matchmaker guys, that was a very slow pace. She just sat right on top of it. I think if you watch the Kentucky Downs race, and maybe she just likes Kentucky Downs, I could be wrong. There's two things I really liked about the Kentucky Downs race. Number one, she was fast in that race. She got 98 by her, and the time form liked her too. Number one. Number two, she finally was able to sit off a little bit and got some pace in front of her to run at. I think she wants a target, guys. I think she's better stalking with a target in a fast pace, and this is going to be a faster pace because it's a mile race. There's not a ton of speed. The other thing is it's Flavian, and she's gotten really good right now. And I don't think this is like we've seen better fields. I mean, it's a really good field, but there's no superstars. I think Sagesta can be mid-pack to up close in a relatively slow run race. And I think she's learning to have a kick at the end, guys. And I love Flavian on this horse. I think Sagesta is a serious contender here, but she's not my top choice.
I have 4 A's and she's the 4th horse for me. So I'm with you on that one. She only dropped down because I thought maybe she'd prefer a little longer. That was the only reason why I left her.
She might.
Out of the
she
3.
might, Pete. You guys could be absolutely right.
Don't you feel like this is a trip race, though? Like you were talking about it, they're so evenly matched. It's going to be like, well, who gets their trip? And, you'll talk about the one and see what kind. She's one is confusing because I don't know what her best trip is. But go ahead, talk about the one here.
Well, we all know Schwazia because this was Pete's pick from early this year, and I'm going to show the race that she won. It was a bit controversial, at least in my opinion, or many people's opinion, because it got really tight on the. She got a dream chip. She's the 2 here. Excellent Truth was behind her. Let me just go forward a little bit here. And Excellent Truth tried to squeeze right through here, and some people think that there was a little squeeze play that Schwazia came over. This is Kehoe Beach right there. Excellent Truth, I think, would have won the race. We can have that argument again if we want. I'd rather not. But anyway, Schwazia, the 2, ends up winning. Excellent Truth came back and beat her relatively handily at Saratoga. Here's my feeling, guys, though, today. First of all, I don't know where Excellent Truth is. I don't think she's hurt. I don't think she's injured. I'm shocked she's not in this race. But anyway, I think Schwazia gets another great trip here, Pete and Paul. There's not a lot of speed. The Tory, can be aggressive. I think she's going to run a great race. Now, what happened in the last 2 races? Let's look at it real carefully. In the Just a Game, guys, she was wide and uncovered the entire time. By the way, Diana Price won the race. It was a brutal trip. She was wide, uncovered. I don't think she wants yielding. To me, that's a complete toss. Last time, she ran perfectly fine in the Diana, losing to Excellent Truth, and She Feels Pretty. Both of who would be favored in this race, guys. And most importantly for me, I don't think Schwazia wants to be on the lead. I think she's best just stalking, taking cover like she did, Pete, in the Jenny Wiley. I think she's going to get exactly the same kind of trip on Saturday. There's no killers in this race. And we're going to get an okay price with Frankie. I'm going with Schwazia here, who I've been against most of her career in North America, frankly, including in the Jenny Wiley, where she got a dream trip. I think a dream trip is coming again at like 4-1. I'm going Schwazia, guys.
Yeah, there's two things I liked about her because I like her, so I wanted to try and land on her if I could. I wouldn't get beat by her, I could tell you that much. She does have her win, her win in the Jenny Wiley obviously came at Keeneland with a really nice figures on there, so that's one positive. Second, she a lot of times the foreign horses come over looking for firm turf. She hasn't gotten it yet, so I'm wondering if we're going to see her move forward on a firm turf course, which we haven't seen. She definitely didn't like the yielding course 2 back. Yep. And I also think, even though she won at 1 1/8 in Maidan, I don't think 1 1/8 is her game. I think the mile is more her game. So now we're her, I think 8.5 down is probably her game. So getting her there on fast turf with the possibility of getting a good trip, I think she has a huge shot here, or she sucks again, and then we're done. Then you got to stop playing her. But
if she doesn't run well here, I agree with you, Pete. I watched the Maidan races really carefully before the Jenny Wiley. She's very quick, twitchy. She's not like long-winded sort. She doesn't have like a long run in her yet.
She's
Time it
got a
out
little
correctly,
burst.
but
Yeah.
she's got a burst.
Yeah.
Exactly. She's got a burst. And I think with a guy like Frankie, he's a perfect guy to let her go at the correct time. Question for you, Paul, and then we're going to move on. I just saw it. I had it up on screen. It was about Ozara. Where the heck is it now? The question was from, I'm drawing a blank now. Let me see if I can find it. The question was the jockey situation and wondering why
why
Dylan
was Davis on? Yeah, why
why
did
did Dylan
leave?
get? Oh, they're from Felipe right there, Paul. Why did Dylan get off Ozara? I'm not going to speak for you, but Felipe, in my opinion, it's not that Dylan got off Ozara. It's that IRAD got on Ozara. Does that make sense to you, Paul? If you agree with that?
Well, yeah, remember Dylan's ridden dynamic pricing the last 3 races,
Right.
and he's ridden Ozara the last 2 races. So I don't, and he may not want to say no to Chad Brown.
I was just going to say, don't you want to stay on a good Chad Brown if you can?
He
and sort of
doesn't get
stay
a
in his
lot of
good graces. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of Chad. So yeah, I don't. And dynamic pricing is, Dylan rode this horse in back-to-back grade 1s, and Ozara, even though I like Ozara, is coming off a listed stakes and a grade 2. So I don't think that's surprising at all. And I'm happy to. I like Dylan, but I'm happy to pick up IRAD.
No doubt about it. Once again, I mentioned this earlier in the show, but for people who are just joining us, guys, we have almost 300 people watching live right now. We really appreciate the viewership. Weekend Warriors this Saturday. Pete's hosting, Paul's co-hosting, Matt Miller's co-hosting. We might have other people. Yours truly, I will be at Keeneland in the paddock, the winner's circle, interviewing trainers, jockeys, giving my opinions. It's going to be a great show. It starts at 3:30 Eastern. We're going to go to about 6 o'clock Eastern. All the big Keeneland races we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about the New York races. We'll have audio of all those races going on. Again, I'll be there live, hopefully with some great interviews. Do not want to miss on this YouTube channel, Weekend Warriors. Mr. Visco hosting, big show. No pressure, Pete.
Yeah, who doesn't want to hear me and Paul talk for 2.5 hours?
No doubt about it.
Miller,
and Matt, yeah.
One last note on this race, Howard. I would be very aware in playing multis of the 2-horse wiring this field. I'm not saying he's going to do it. She's going to do it. I'm saying when she does, don't after the race say, how the hell did that horse? How did Johnny V wire a route turf field? So
Rakia ran very well. At Del Mar, she's run some races. She actually rated and almost beat dynamic pricing last time. So, I mean, if you like dynamic pricing, why not Rakia? Right, Paul?
That's exactly it.
Yeah. I'm using her as a C. I don't think she's completely impossible. I would be a little surprised, but yeah, I mean, if she walks the dog, she got a 95 there in the Gold Tacova at Del Mar. So she could be scary if she runs a real big race. If she's on the lead by herself, we'll see. All right, let's go on to the next race, guys. This is the Breeders' Futurity that I'm bringing on the screen right now. This is a prep for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It is a win, and you're in. It's the Claiborne. I love the people of Claiborne. Breeders' Futurity. It's a grade 1. It's only a field of 7, which surprises me a little bit. This is usually a field of 10, 12, 13. It's just, we could have this. Maybe this is going to be a rant for Paul later, or we could talk about it. It's just so many damn races throughout the country at the same time. It's hard to get big fields and horses that really fit. Or, Pete and Paul, is it that they were all scared away by a potential monster, the number 6, Ted Noffey, who's 4-5, Pletcher and Velasquez. There are some very exciting horses in here. Also, the Tom Amos trained Big Dom for IRAD, 4-1, and then the very aptly and popular named Ewing, especially if you're a New York Knicks fan, for Cassie, Jose Ortiz, and West Point Thoroughbreds. Guys, it's only a field of 7, but it is a fun race. Let's see where we're going. I'm going 6-2-5. Pete's going 6-1-2. Paul's going 6-7-2. We are going to chalk out Pete with Ted Noffey, who I absolutely loved last time and was more than happy to get, 2-1 or whatever, 5-2, whatever, or 9-5, whatever I got last time. I thought it was a gift. This is a serious, serious horse. An Into Mischief colt out of an old-fashioned mare, cost $650, and I think right now, as we speak, is probably the juvenile favorite, along with Pick, a Baffert horse out west.
Yeah, is and actually is overseas right now the favorite. So good
Okay.
call there. Yeah, man, there's not a lot to say. The horse had 2 dominant wins. The figures have been great. Has been able to. I know, I'm not a trip person who likes to say, "Oh, this horse got a great trip." When really great horses make great trips, but this horse had pretty nice trips in both, sitting off paces that were pretty soft and was able to just pounce and roll. But I don't know. He hasn't done anything close to wrong, and he's been nothing but spectacular. I guess the only question would be his breeding doesn't scream distance, but we're not going that long here. We're only going 8.5, so I don't think that should be a problem. I don't know. If you can't come up with a negative really for this horse, so you might think some of the other horses are just as good or have just as much potential, but you can't look at this horse and say there's a reason why he's going to lose. I can't see that.
Yeah, Old Fashioned was more of a sprinter, but Streak of Luck, that's the second family. Streak of Luck went 1.25 miles. I mean, this was a longer distance turf horse. By the way, I got 3.8 to 1 in the hopeful. It was completely, looking back at it, it's almost laughable, but
Yeah,
I was more than happy to get it. Why I like this horse in the hopeful and why I like him so much here is, even though he's not necessarily bred to go, like maybe not a Derby horse, he's got a long stride, Pete, and it just seems like as the distance get longer, he gets better at this point of their career. I'm not worried about 2 turns at all.
no, mine was. I think that's the only thing you could say potentially negative if you wanted to come up with something. Otherwise, I think you're just grasping at straws if you're trying to poke holes into this horse.
Paul,
even though he's going to lose, but not to the horses that you guys are going to talk about. But we'll get to that in a minute.
In this race?
Yeah, why not?
But you got him on top. So
I do, but I'm going too deep on my caveman.
Okay.
I'm going to try and upset him.
All right, we'll talk about your rail horse in just a minute. Paul, you got the 6. Here's a concern for me, Paul. We don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, the break. I really wish Ewing was drawn inside Ted Noffey, because when you have a very fast horse drawn outside of Ted Noffey, he could. I'm not saying that Jose Ortiz is going to pull, pull a Paco or something. Sorry, just had to say it. I'm not saying he's going to come over on Ted Noffey, but Ewing is naturally very quick, and he has to get over to some extent, and it's a very short run to the first turn. I'm more concerned about that than the distance, to be honest. And Ewing is pretty talented. You've got him second.
I loved Ewing last time. Obliteration is a real good horse who was the favorite in that race. A real good Asmussen horse. I loved Ewing in that race. I agree, Howard. I would prefer if I could flip the 6 and 7, but
yeah,
I think Ewing will be clearly ahead of him and away from there. I get the pedigree, but I know what my eyes saw at Saratoga twice. I think Ted Noffey is going to get much better as he goes longer.
I agree.
Really do. We'll see. He's got to go 2 turns for the first time. And remember, I get it. This is a grade 1, but it is not the ultimate target. So don't be surprised if Ted Noffey might be a little further behind than you would think or want. But I also believe that Ewing is going to max out at about a mile. I think the horse is great. Happy for West Point, happy for Griffin Johnson. Again, this is just me telling you what my eyes have seen, and I'm going to go with that. But yeah, I think Ted Noffey is a stick out, and he would be one that I would single in a multi-race sequence.
I totally agree with you. This is my single also. I don't like what I saw at the end of the Ewing race last time, Paul. I agree. He doesn't scream 2 turns right now. Now, maybe it's a Nick Skull. I mean, obviously, these are young horses. But right now, I don't like it. And who's to say he's going to have the lead for sure? Because you've got your rail horse, Blackout Time, who can't be that far back, Pete, and I'll let you talk about him in a minute. But Big Dom, I think, is a threat. Amos said immediately on Fox after he won that he was just getting warmed up, that he wants 2 turns. He's a big horse. He's a McKinsey out of a pulpit mare. And he also has tactical speed. I mean, I don't think Ewing is going to get that clear in this field. And if he does, I think Big Dom is going to be sitting right off it. Big Dom, I predict, is going to have the jump on Ted Noffey. And I wouldn't be shocked if Big Dom wins, even though I'm probably going to single Ted Noffey. We got a Baffert in here also, litmus test, who I didn't love last time. Looks more like one paced. And Bob is shipping him out here, which to me tells me he's more like a B string. But, I mean, it's Pratt and it's Baffert, and this horse costs $875. So, I've got him third, although I don't think he can win. Talk about the one, Pete, and then we need to get to the last race. Blackout Time. Kenny McPeak is tremendous. This horse won by 9. I don't know if the field was great. I know he beat the next out winner, but he's got a few things going for him. He's a Kentucky horse. He's been in Kentucky. He's got the rail. He's been working well. You figure he's going to sit a good trip, and he's going to be a price. I mean, I could see people liking this horse a little bit.
Yeah, you pretty much said a lot of it there. I like the works, and the last 2 works don't scream as much, but the works before that and then the last 2 sort of seem like, almost like maintenance type works, trying to get the horse sharp for this race. The one thing I do like is I know this horse did go a mile. Is the only, I think, 2 horses in here have gone a mile so far. So you can at least see there's a little bit of distance. Beat 4 next out winners in that last race, but they all came back with like 60 buyers. Yeah. So I don't think the race was necessarily strong or anything. But again, I don't mind that if you beat the field like you're supposed to, and he destroyed the field and beat him pretty impressively. The biggest thing for me is I like the works. I think there's some talent here, and I think the distance as they go further for this horse are really going to move him forward. Now, he may not be good enough, and he may not be able to catch up, but I think the distance brings him closer to maybe some of the other horses where they potentially could regress. And if I have him as like the 4th choice, you'll see in my best bets, if nothing else, I might just play a big sort of Dutch exacta here and try and catch him at a price, either in 2nd or maybe if he gets the upset.
I'm going to use him underneath. I think he's a little bit interesting for sure. Let's get to the last race, guys. The last race of this sequence. It's, by the way, it's the last race of the $3 all turf pick 3. Or is the last race a turf race? Well, I could be wrong.
No, last one's
no, you're right.
Okay, it's the last leg of the all turf $3 pick 3. This race, guys, every year is fantastic, and this is no different. But again, I don't think there's a superstar in here. It's the Coolmore Turf Mile, grade 1. This is a win you're in for the Breeders' Cup Mile. They boosted up the purse to $1.25 million at Keeneland. It is a big field of 12. You got some Euros, you got some talented Americans, you got sprinters stretching out. The morning line favorite in a wide open field is, I predict, going to be the post time favorite at a much lower odds than 7-2. The number 4, Diego Velasquez for Aiden O'Brien and Frankie Dettori. High weight with, actually, they're all 126, except for the 3-year-olds who are at 122. Let's see where we're going here in a very interesting race to close out the all stakes pick 5. I'm going 8-5-4. Pete is going 4-8-2, and Paul's going 4-12-9. We are all over the place, except for the top choices. Pete and Paul are going to go with the Euro, Diego Velasquez, who I have in 3rd. I have strong opinions on Diego Velasquez, who was supposed to go to the Breeders' Cup Mile last year, guys, then ended up not going. He's won his last 2 races. Paul, I'll let you talk first about this Aiden O'Brien trained horse making his first start in the United States, I believe, correct?
But not his first trip to the United States. I watched this horse train in Saratoga last year in 2024. That was Whitney Day when they had to take all the races off the turf.
Didn't you think he looked great that week, Paul? I thought, if I remembered.
Oh, he was training. He was training great. They had a filly. Aiden sent 2 horses over, a filly to run in the Oaks on Friday, and she had a scratch due to a minor injury, and Diego to run in the Saratoga Derby, I believe it was, on Saturday, and they canceled the race. So yes, he has not run in the U.S., but he has been to the U.S., Howard. Okay. And Yeah, I think he's run, really well. I'm kicking myself because I had the exacta the other way last time with notable speech on top, and this horse beats me. Aiden beats me at 17-1. And every once in a while, you have to be reminded of just how frickin' moronic you are. And that was it for me. That was my day there. I think this horse is very good. I thought he was very good last year as a 3-year-old. I think he would have been formidable in the Breeders' Cup. I'm assuming that if things go well here, he goes on to the Breeders' Cup. As you say, Howard, competitive race, but no one that you really want to stay away from, which is why I'm going to try to get at least one price in there, if not two. But I do think this horse looks pretty solid.
Paul, if Notable Speech was in this race, Notable Speech would be 8-5 morning line, probably something like that.
Oh yeah, right.
And if you watch the last race, if you watch the Prix-Jacques Lemoyne, Notable Speech had trouble and came home in sub 11. That's right, sub 11 second final eighth, complete ridiculous. And Diego Velasquez, frankly, was lucky to win that race. If you watch the replay on YouTube, there's a blue flash coming on the stand side rail, and that was Notable Speech, who obviously ran well at Woodbine. Diego Velasquez, well, I'll let you talk, Pete, and then I'll talk about Diego Velasquez. Look, he's won Group 1s, Group 2s. He's a deserved favorite in this race.
Yeah, there's not. I'm more with the idea that, hey, this isn't the greatest field, and as much as I like to joke about the Euro trash coming over, this horse is good, and but again, I don't look at this horse. I don't look at this as one of those Euros that come over and sort of lays over the field. But I do think that he's been in races and he's faced horses and beat horses that are just really high quality. Yeah. Chris Couples, you need to, I don't know, man, you got to put the drinks down, something. You can't do that. You can't do that. That sounds like something my dad would do, and he's 80. So, you don't want to be in that boat. But yeah, I think he's just faced some really good horses. He's beat really good horses, and he's just super classy. And he seems to be, hey, Patrick, and he seems to be getting better. I mean, from a time form standpoint, he had his lifetime top in that last race. And you said Notable Speech did come back and ran great at Woodbine. So I think he's in great form. He fits. And again, it's not the greatest field in the world.
Well, look at Matt Majunkin. If Dave Less is greater than even money, I'm going to empty the clip on him. Oh, he's going to be greater than even money. I mean, he's going to be 9-5, Pete. I'll say 9-5.
I don't even, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I could see him at 2, in all honesty. I don't know. There's a lot of ways to put your money here. And I think, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So let me throw some poo-poo on everyone here. And, look, I can be wrong, but if there's one thing people are going to say about me, they won't say that Howard does not take stands, because I take stands. And Matt Miller knows this very well, great friend, that, okay, it's not easy to find 12, 15-1 shots. I mean, I'm wrong about those a decent amount, like a lot of people, because they're hard to find. I'm usually pretty good about fading favorites. Guys, I don't like Diego Velasquez to win this race Saturday. And let me explain why. And I'd love to hear you guys push back or agree. Too bad. First of all, he's had 3 starts this year. He was good last year, but not a superstar. Okay. He was sort of one pace last year. He was a big horse. He was growing into his body. This year, obviously, he's better. Okay. The Queen Annie was horrible. That was his first race back. He barely won that grade 2, guys, and he was 7-5, 2 starts back. It didn't blow me away. It didn't do much for me. Now, the last race, again, he gets a perfect trip. I know it's a Group 1, but he was lucky to win the race. Notable Speech was clearly better. The one thing about Diego Velasquez, I'm going to go full screen, that I don't like, guys, this race has a ton of early speed in it, and I'm going to show the time for him. The setup. This race has a ton of early speed. Diego Velasquez has never been in a race on a track with tight turns, going 45 and change to the half. He's gonna have to come from further back. He has never done that. Every time I see this horse run lately and win, he's up close like a soft pace, just tracking very nicely and calmly on a straight track. This is a completely different animal on Saturday, guys. Now look. Maybe he doesn't strike me as like a super duper athletic kind of horse that can get inside and outside of spots. And he doesn't look that way to me. He looks more of a one pace, really nice front runner or close to front runner type that's taking advantage of some situations. I am very dubious of him. Matt Majunkin, I appreciate your thought. You might be right. I could be completely wrong about this, guys. I do not like Diego Velasquez to win this race. I'm going to use him, of course. I'm not a moron. But there's some things, guys, that I just don't like watching visually from him. And again, as we look at the pace scenario, and then I'll let you guys talk about him, and I'll talk about my top pick. Look how far back they have him. Actually, they don't have him in this race because it's a fast pace. But guys, I think he's going to be somewhere around where the 11 and 10 are going to be in this race. This is a very fast pace on paper.
Yeah, but that could, I mean, again, the one thing that's funny is I agree with you. And it's not like he's not close to a single for me. I have 3 A's in the race. There's a few horses I think that I like, but I think there's questions about most of the other horses as well. So, but I don't think he lays over the field. That's why I said he's not the kind of Euro that comes over where I just look at and go, oh, man, they're not beating this horse if he runs his race. But the one thing we don't know, and when they come over, is sometimes the fast pace and they just have a late kick that even if you don't even see it as full. Sometimes in Europe they come over and they get on the faster
that's not
turf.
His style though, Pete. He's never really
it's not.
He's never really done that.
It's not.
His numbers, Pete and Paul. I mean, look at him. This is time for him. Believe it or not, whatever you want at home. 117, 118, right? He is improving, okay, but he's gotten great trips. 123, 119. Just keep that in mind. Keep in mind the 123 and 119, everyone. Doggle momentum, 2 122s. I'll go full screen. Again, take it for what it's worth. People can disagree with me. That's fine. The 2 just got a 122. Howard Wolowitz, who we haven't talked about yet, who is stretching out, 119, 121. Let's see. Wood Shauna, not that far off. This is, by the way, I like this one almost better than Diego Velasquez because this is a closer. 117, 118. Again, Mercante, 121, 122. Epic Ride right there. Program Trading, my top choice, 127 and 125. I mean, even Rhetorical's not that far off. There's a lot of horses, guys, if you believe in time form, that are right there with Diego Velasquez and not even better. So
well, but you're talking about it like he's 4 to 5. I mean, he's a soft 7 to 2. So all that makes sense. He's not going to be
7 to 2, though, Pete.
No, but I'm saying if he was, like, I don't think he's going to take. But I don't think he's going to take money like a big time favorite would. And if he does, I
think.
I mean, I don't care because I'm not necessarily a win better anyway. So I'm not one who cares if he's 7 to 2 or 9 to 5. It doesn't make a difference to me one way or the other. If I like the horse, I'm going to include him. If I don't, I don't. But I don't think of him as like, oh, this is a big time horse that you could poke holes in. I look at him as saying he's about the same as the others, but a lot of times the Euros, even when they don't look as great, are still better than ours. And that's somehow why you have to look at it sometimes.
Look, he could step up too, right? Maybe he loves a fast track going around a bend. Maybe he'll love Keeneland. Maybe
that's what we never know.
And maybe he'll look to his left and right and see these stupid American horses. Let me just blow by them in the stretch. I mean, if he wins by 2 or 3, I'm not going to be surprised. I just don't expect it to happen at all. Let me talk about program trading, guys. Then we're going to talk about 1 or 2 others and wrap up the show. 9 to 2 to me, I like. Pat Kunzel and I had a big bet on this horse in last year's a Derby contest when he upset the field and won off of off of a layoff in the Turf Classic. I wish this horse was more healthy, guys. He's clearly had some issues because he's only had 8 starts as a 5-year-old. But you know what, guys? He's 7 for 8. It's first or second. He always fires. He's won 1.3 million. That last race was definitely a prep, and I thought he ran his eyeballs out. They won 49 to the half, guys, which is completely ridiculous. This horse is better coming from off the pace. Like the Hollywood Derby effort in 23 was completely insane. If you remember that race, I think this horse is really talented. And what's very clear to me, Paul, is Chad is pointing in this spot. He's always been pointing to this spot. I think he is a serious, serious contender. I love him. I hope I'm getting 9 to 2 on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, he did have the race flow up against him last time. Having said that, and look, I'm a huge Tom Morley fan, and he's got a good horse here, but I will be shocked if you want to talk about being shocked if a horse wins. I
Yeah.
would be shocked if the one wins. And I'm looking at program trading losing to him, and you gloss over it, but I would, if Notable Speech were in this race, I would have the over under at 2.5 for lengths he would win by, and this horse lost to him by a head. So, but I have nothing bad to say about program trading. I'm with you there. He should move forward off that race. He's stayed in Saratoga. He's had three solid work since then. So I think a lot will depend on where he is coming home. But he's got Mr. Pratt on him, and that's his job to get him in the right spot.
There's a lot of insights for you with Down Momentum. Quattro Cento with Pete Scott third is in just absolutely fantastic form right now. If he runs his race, Howard Wolowitz is a horse I love, not because of the name, but he's just really honest. The stretch out is really interesting, guys, with Howard Wolowitz. I'm fascinated to see how he runs. It's just an awfully very tough spot. Wood Shauna, I would consider strongly. I've got second. He's been racing as mainly 3-year-olds. My only issue with Wood Shauna, guys, he doesn't break very well, but he is a closer. He's a closer for Resolute Racing and Tyler, who's going to get a lot of pace in front of him. I'm not worried about distance. We've seen these French horses, see Goldakova in the encyclopedia, come over here going shorter distances and win all the time. Wood Shauna is a threat. Paul, and you like Jonquil a little bit. That's the last horse we'll talk about. This is a Juddmonte Andrew Balding horse for Dylan, who's a little bit slower on the figs, but certainly another Euro. That's a 3-year-old that could step up.
Yeah, and if I could only talk about one horse, even though I picked Jonquil ahead of her, I think the 9, the New York bred, is in unbelievable form. Now, this is a big step up, but
I agree.
I think William Walden has Elliot Walden's blood in him, and Elliot was never a guy to put his horses in situations he didn't think they had a chance. This horse is 4 for 5. Again, I know 4 New York bred races and 1 optional claimer, but he is in raging form. And the fact that Nick Tamaro sets him only at 8-1, I think is pretty telling.
P, is there anything else you want to talk about in this race? I think it's wide open. I have 3, 4, 5, 9 as B's. I have program trading as a lone A. I'm sort of going to take a stand on him, but I think there's many others that could win. 3, 4, 5, 9 would be my second horses after that, which includes Howard
Wolowitz, it's funny. I didn't toss one horse in this race. I had 3 A's, a bunch of B's, and then a few C's. But I mean, I wouldn't play it that way. But I didn't toss anyone. I thought you could make a case for almost every horse to at least hit the board with a good trip.
I agree. It's fantastic race. Let's look at our best bets, and then we'll let Paul rant quickly if he has one. Pete, you're going to go to race 7. A pick 4 you're going to play. 5 with 1, 5, 9, 10, with 1, 6, with 2, 4, 8. And then race 9, you're going to Dutch the exacta 6, 1 bigger, 1, 6 smaller.
Yeah, I talked about most of it. So in the pick 4, I'm going to single Vava on the front end, and then I'm going to go too deep in the futurity, try and take a shot and see if Blackout Time could upset the field. And then the same thing with the Dutch Exacta. I think if I can just get a price there, I think the other horses like Ewing and Big Dom will take the money. So I think we can maybe get a decent Exacta, Ted Nafi with Blackout Time.
Actually, I don't like the one as much as you do, but from a betting standpoint, Pete, I like your bet. I like your bet a lot because you're looking for value and you're going to get it with Blackout Time. So I'm curious to see how much he's bet. I wonder if he's going to take sneaky money. I'm very curious to see how they bet Kenny McPeak with that horse. Paul, you're going to go to race 8. You're going to play a $4 pick 3. You're going to hit the all ball in race 8, which is the First Lady, correct? Yes. And then you're going to just single Ted Nafi and single Diego Velasquez for $48 ticket.
Yeah, that's a little offbeat type of ticket. I mean, all in a pick 3 is not something you do every day, but I do think the race is wide open. And, I would come back with a couple of press-up tickets using probably 2, 3, or 4 in there, but a little bit of a different.
So obviously,
I like to get people thinking, Peter.
Obviously, their favorite then wins the first leg, no doubt, right? I mean, that's a given. When
well,
you hit
and then I got my fingers, where.
Yeah, that's always how that works.
I am going to offer up a pick 3 in race 8 for everyone. Starts in the First Lady. 1, 5, 9, 10. Don't sleep on Special Juan, the 13, if Special Juan gets in. With 2, 6, I'm in this ticket. I'm actually going to use Big Dom also because I think I'm going to get value there. And then I'm going to go 5, 8, 9. Look, I've got Rhetorical there, Paul. We, Spirit of New York wasn't supposed to win the Pegasus World Cup either. I mean, Rhetorical is very talented, and they've been pointing this race for a long time. So I'm going to go 5, 8, 9. That's with Shauna with program training and Rhetorical. I just think someone's going to come off the pace and win that. And I'm a little against Diego Velasquez, who's been the favorite in that race. It's a $6 bet for $2. And then race 10, I'm going to go with program training. I'm not saying I'm going to bet the farm on program trading. I like a lot of things about this horse. I think he's going to run a huge race.
You want to get this for Paul? You want to ask Paul? You want to take a look at that one from Matt? The question was, we need a discussion with that recommendation. Why isn't that a $48 daily double instead of playing
was that for me? Wait,
no, that was for Paul.
No, that's a good question.
Oh, that's
because the answer is I didn't think hard enough.
This was a more fun, interesting bet, not necessarily.
No, but that's that's a good question because in looking at that, it absolutely you'd get more back. So. I haven't read the book in about 6 months. Give me a break, will you?
Well, for everyone who's Matt Miller's point is why worry about a third race with Diego Velasquez where you can just cash right there with Ted Noffey. Although I will say, well, I guess it depends how much money Diego Velasquez takes. I mean, if he's a favorite, then I think his points are very well taken. If he's a soft 3-1, Pete, then you're still going to get some decent value in that pick 3. Paul, did you want to rant or say anything here down the show?
No, we got to get to the other show. I mean, okay. I would have talked about the absolutely disgraceful behavior of the United States golf fans last weekend, going off topic. Yeah. As I said to someone, if given the chance to embarrass themselves, American sports fans will never disappoint you. But I did bet Europe at plus 160.
Yeah, well, that was good. I actually liked Europe a little bit too. But I'll end with this, guys. I put it on X, so people can look it up because I posted it. I almost jokingly, I was at the casino last Saturday night, and I almost jokingly, I had $35 left in my wallet. Wasn't a great night at the poker table. Anyway, $35. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go down to the sports book and see what the U.S. is right now. They were 28-1. I'm like, you know what? Perfect. I'll throw $35 on there just for S's and giggles, right? Well, at about 4:00 Eastern, guys, on Sunday, I was thinking I was collecting almost $1,000 because that was one hell of a comeback, but they lost. We know certain places in this country, Pete and Paul, they boo Santa Claus. No, not New York. You know where, people, if you know sports. They weren't booing Santa Claus, but I got to tell you, I love the people on the East Coast, but sometimes, guys, I know you're from the East Coast.
Yeah, well, and I think for that event, I was in New York, I get it, but I think that is such an international event. Those U.S. fans were not just from, Manhattan and Long Island. Yeah,
I know.
Hey, by the way, it could have easily happened in Boston. Trust me, and I'm from here. Okay.
All I can say is us Chicago people, Medina wasn't that. We were boisterous. We weren't insulting. Because the Chicagoans are, Chicagoans listening and watching. You know what I'm talking
some of the best people I know.
Some of the best. I agree with you, Paul. Pete and Paul, what a fun show. Really fun. Keeneland is going to be amazing to be there in person. Paul will be there in 2 weeks. I'll be there this weekend and next weekend. Pete will be there. Pete, you've never been to Keeneland, correct?
No, not yet.
All right, that's a bucket list. You and Nick will have to check it out because that's a great place. We wish everyone a ton of luck and success this weekend at Keeneland. Watch Weekend Warriors 3:30 Eastern on Saturday for live coverage. For Pete Visco,
join us in 15 minutes, by the way. 15 minutes. Join us again.
Yep, join us again at 9:30 Eastern. Great race plays. For Pete and Paul, this is Howard. Crush your bets at Keeneland this Saturday. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
habits. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.